to the Fit and Fabulous podcast with Dr. Jaime Semen.
Well, this is weird.
You guys, this is an amazing day on the Fit and Fabulous podcast. Welcome back. And thank you to everyone that's tuned in to every prior episode. I've been getting such amazing feedback on social media. You guys letting me know what you think of the episodes, who you want to hear from. I really appreciate that because listen, this is for all of you. And I appreciate especially when you download the episodes and when you leave reviews, because that really helps our visibility out there in the space and helps us get noticed so that we can spread our messages to more people. But today's guest is super special. He's the man behind the camera. You guys don't get to see him because he's literally behind the camera every time I'm filming something. But today's guest is Matthew Bills, and he is, I mean, I can't even read a bio because he owns more companies than I can even name off. But on today's episode, we're going to talk about how to become a millionaire. Okay, this is completely different than the normal vagina doctor topics that we talk about or anything related to the ketogenic diet. Although I'll tell you, the circle of influence when Matt started working with me, obviously he's not going to go get pap smears, but he started making some lifestyle changes. And I know we're all human. He's not perfect either. Neither am I. But it's been funny standing behind the camera. He has to listen to all these episodes, everything I film. And then it definitely, I think, changes the conversation when he goes home at the dinner table. So I think it's pretty cool. But I got introduced to Matt in 2019, and our partnership is just absolutely thriving. He is the mind and the master behind the Fit and Fabulous podcast and a lot of the work that I do. He not only has a super big brain and a super big bank account, which we're going to talk about,
Oh my God.
but really honestly, what I love most about Matt Bills is his big heart. He's just somebody that is constantly figuring out how he can give back to other people and to society and to animals. We've just, so you know, I don't think the YouTube people can see it, but I have two small Yorkshire Terriers, and maybe you've heard them before on the Fit and Fabulous podcast because sometimes they will bark, like the UPS guy shows up in the middle of podcasting, and Matt's such a genius. I'm sure he somehow like edits it out, but they're running around the floor today. And I said, Matt, I think you should hold a dog. So if one of them comes over here, all you YouTube people can meet one of my dogs, because Matt's magnetic when it comes to animals. So, but Matt, thank you for stepping on this side of the camera and getting behind the mic, because I think you have a lot of cool things to share with people.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. Okay,
so tell people who you are and what you do, because you wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. And if I can really quick, since I know I'm going to be editing this later, I just want to say hi to Matt. Hey, Matt. All right. So
he also has the most incredible sense of humor. Seriously.
Hey, if you can't have fun, what's the point, right?
Here, Matt. Here's a dog.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
yes,
I found one of the dogs for Matt to hold. So the YouTube people. This is Rex, T-Rex. He's pretty ferocious. He weighs 4.4 pounds.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Awesome. How many dogs do you have, Matt?
I've got 3 dogs. 3 dogs, 2 pit bulls and a wiener dog.
Incredible.
Wiener dog's the boss for sure. But yeah, I mean, a little bit of background. I grew up in a military family. So I had the unique opportunity to live all over the world and experience other cultures, and that really, kind of shaped, who I would eventually become, especially in business. When you grow up as a military brat, you're moving constantly and having to adapt constantly to change.
Right.
So change isn't something that really bugs me a whole lot. And I know it's something that does bug a lot of people. So
right, you either figure out how to thrive in that environment or it's going to destroy somebody.
Totally. And and so, as I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but as I kind of went into the business world, I think that was one of my biggest strengths, was no matter what was going on, I just kind of viewed it as it's just another day and you just got to work through it and figure it out. And so I kind of credit my upbringing a lot to that. But yeah, it was really cool growing up the way I did, and especially the perspective of getting to learn about, learn the fact that there's a big world out there, and it really helped me appreciate what other people bring to the table and how you can, we always talk about, our tribes and, having making sure that where you spend your time is not just adding value to what you're trying to do, but it's kind of positioning you to add value to other people, and being able to meet people from literally every walk of
Right.
life growing up was
Right.
pretty huge.
Okay, so Matt Bills, as a little boy, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh my gosh. I think I went through my phase. I wanted to be, let's see, I skateboarded for about 17 years.
So you're going to be a Tony. You were
I was
going to be Tony Hawk.
I was going to be Tony Hawk.
I met him.
I met Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Did you meet Tony Hawk?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Hey, Tony.
Tony, you're invited to come on the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Anytime.
So I did that quite a bit, and I was okay. I was okay at it.
I'm sure you were great.
I was okay, but I think as I got into my later teen years, you kind of realize, well, I'm probably not going to be a professional skateboarder.
Like, how am I going to monetize this?
Pretty much, yep.
Yeah.
Gosh, and yeah, I went through another phase where I was like really interested in maybe like going into the Air Force and being like a pilot. My mom worked at the Air Force Academy while we were stationed.
I was going to say, is this because your mom and dad and
just
the exposure as a young kid?
Yeah, for sure. And my dad was in the Army, by the way. He wasn't in the Air Force. I'm sure he wants me to point that out.
He was very high up, actually.
Yes, he did very well for himself in the military. But so yeah, I kind of thought about that, and then I don't think I really started to kind of, I don't know, get my shit together, if you will, until I met Kim.
I was going to say, you met your wife at a really young age. How old were you?
Yeah, I was 15. She was 16. Older lady.
Cougar.
Yeah, she was a grade ahead of me. It's a pretty big deal. I don't want to talk about it anyway. Yeah, we met in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, when our dads were at the Army War College, getting their graduate degrees, and we happened to be neighbors and shared the same driveway. And I skateboarded with her brother, so I totally violated bro code and started dating my friend's sister. I know. Yep. That's okay. It worked out.
It worked out.
Yeah. And we're all good friends to this day, so it's fine. Yeah, she was someone like I didn't do that great in school earlier on. I kind of was focused on everything in the world other than school. And then I met Kim, and Kim is incredibly bright, and I kind of realized I needed to.
She was trying to make you a better person.
Yeah.
You didn't realize it.
No,
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%. And in fact, and you'll see, I'm sure throughout the theme of our conversation, I would have absolutely nothing if it wasn't for her. I mean, one of the biggest things I've learned, we've been married for 10 years, so we've been together for 18 years. Having a strong partner in your corner has been absolutely everything. And I talk a lot about it in my book about, the fact that we never give each other grief about having to work or having to, go out and just get it done,
right.
Even if it takes a lot of time away from home to do certain things, we know that we're working together because we have common goals, and we know where we want to be, and we know what we need to do to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that neither one of us are going to have to think, okay, gosh, when I get home, I'm going to have to explain myself of why I'm having to work so much, or why I'm having to do X, Y, Z.
It's so interesting that you say that, because my listeners and I've been working with Tom Shea recently with his Unbreakable Leadership, and his book Unbreakable was actually supposed to be titled Spartan Woman, but the book manufacturers didn't think that was very sexy for a Navy SEAL. But really, he's worked with so many high-level CEOs across the country, and he has found that one of the just absolute necessities for success is this idea of having a Spartan woman. And Kim Bills, if you guys don't know who she is, she's a total boss lady, and she's a Spartan woman. And it's like this idea that a man is only as strong as his woman, really, to be honestly. And it's just creating that partnership. And Ben and I, strive for that every day too.
Oh my gosh.
Because you cannot be successful with a lopsided relationship or any sort of, resentment or complaining, nagging, don't want to go home to your partner.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm also very cognizant that not everybody has that.
Right.
So it makes me just that
But
much
it takes
more.
work. You built it. It
Oh,
wasn't
for
just
sure.
like,
No, it
yeah.
didn't just happen. I mean,
I mean, Wonder Woman did happen to be living next door, but
that's true. That is true.
And you locked it down.
I did. Gosh, fun fact. I bought her engagement ring when I was in 11th grade. 11th grade. I was working at TJ Maxx. I was unloading trucks in the back room and then going out and stocking the shelves. And that's what I did. So
so tell us about your career path. So you
I
meet
mean,
this girl in high school.
Yeah.
How do you end up where you are now?
Oh my gosh. So,
because you're chapter 2 of this book, you guys. I have Matt Bill's book right in front of me. It's called Stop Listening. Where can people find this book, Matt?
So Amazon's going to be the best place.
Oh my God. I started reading it last night because he brought me a specially signed copy. But chapter 2 is called Nice to Meet You. I'm not special. So tell people how you went from a skater boy in high school to a wildly successful man in his 30s.
Yeah. Early on, I would say probably my late teens, I wanted to work. I really wanted to work. I was never someone who, liked sitting.
A lazy bum.
Yeah, I didn't want to sit around. Still don't like to sit around. I always like to be doing something. And so as soon as I was able to start earning my own money, that's what I wanted to do. Started with probably what a lot of people do. I bagged groceries only on the weekends because I was, in school, obviously during the day, during high school. And that was the first time I'd been able to I was able to go do something, be rewarded monetarily,
right,
and then I was like, oh my gosh, I can take Kim out on
be compensated for your skills.
I can take Kim out on a date tonight.
Yeah.
And you start to experience that level of freedom, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is really, really cool. And then throughout finished high school, worked a couple different jobs. Worked at TJ Maxx in the back room.
I love that store.
It's wonderful. TJ Maxx, if you ever want to sponsor.
And Home Goods. Yes, please.
Really the whole enterprise there. Anything you guys want
to
do.
They're killing it.
But yeah, unloading trucks in the back room, saving money because I knew I wanted to buy Kim her engagement ring. So I did.
Oh, that's so cool. But humble beginnings, because in your book, at the end of your book, actually, you talk about some of the most financially successful people in the entire world and how a lot of their careers started. I actually didn't know the background on Tesla and Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I mean, literally humble beginnings for a lot of these people.
Very much so. Very much so. And after high school, I did, and it's kind of interesting because it's when I fast forward to where I am now, where I'm self-employed and Kim's self-employed, and I think about, was college worth it? Was it not worth it? Because that's always like a big debate today.
So you went to college.
Went to college. Yeah, got my bachelor's degree in leadership, a master's degree in organizational performance from Bellevue University here in Nebraska. And Kim also went to Bellevue. She got a degree in business and a master's in cybersecurity. She's also a spy.
You guys.
There's so many
stars. We're not actually sure if she's a real estate agent.
Yeah, I think it's all a cover, but that's okay. As long as she lets me live, that's all I really care about.
She's a sniper.
Yep. But yeah, so then I went into the
corporate world.
Yeah, went to the corporate world, worked for a couple really 3 main companies, and I started to really discover that I love the kind of the leadership aspect of being in the kind of corporate setting. And, being a 18, 19-year-old, I started, at doing, data entry, making, $10 an hour kind of a deal. And eventually started training people, and then eventually became a supervisor. And then I left that company. And really the last 2 main companies that I worked for before, leaving to do my own thing were 2, multi-billion-dollar companies. And really just started kind of just work my way up the ladder. I mean, I went in as a manager because I had prior management experience. But yeah, I went from manager to associate director, and then eventually to a director, and had a number of different teams reporting to me, and spent a lot of time with some pretty senior people and CEOs, and got exposed to some really amazing stuff. And what's interesting during that transition was, or during that, I guess that journey, as we both, Kim and myself, we've made more money as we went along, as one does as they move up the ladder in most cases. We made some really smart decisions with that money. We didn't get too ahead of ourselves and kind of go nuts. I mean, we weren't eating ramen noodles or anything either.
Right.
We were still living comfortably, but we really, and this kind of went back to kind of having shared goals. We knew that someday, we wanted to kind of start to do our own thing. And
Financial independence.
Yeah. And
everybody's into it. I mean, they're studying Dave Ramsey, they're signing up for his courses.
Yep.
And you and Kim carved your own path.
Yeah. And what's interesting what you said is everybody's into it. That is true. Everyone's into it.
They're interested.
They're interested in it.
They're not committed.
Exactly.
They're interested.
And I think that's been one of the most interesting things. Because I'll tell you right now, and I talk a lot about it in the book, we got a lot of shit from a lot of people. We really did. Because we focused on our work and we focused on what was important to us and what makes us happy.
Yeah.
We didn't spend, it's kind of funny how that works. We didn't spend a lot of our time criticizing others for what makes them happy, but we got criticized a lot for what makes us happy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's other people's insecurities that they're projecting onto us.
Right.
But I'm just so glad that we had a strong enough bond to stick with what we were doing. Or else we may not be kind of where we're at.
So chapter 4 of your book is what they don't teach you in high school. So talk to our listeners about, you're a young adult, you're, trying to pick the path between college or, trade schools or being an entrepreneur at 18. How does somebody set themselves up for success as a young adult? Because they really don't teach you these things. And one thing I've found is everything's a business. Medicine's a business, unfortunately, and I'm in private practice. And so it truly is a business. And I didn't get a business degree. I mean, I was cutting open mice and cadavers and studying biology. And then, here I am thrust into the real world of really truly owning a business and now lots of businesses. So give some advice to these young adults that are kind of trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah. So I would say first thing, and this sounds kind of basic, but I would encourage, so I think back to when we were sitting in our 1-bedroom apartment and trying to figure out what to do with our lives, I guess. And we spent a lot of time. This would have been in like 2006, 2007. We spent a lot of time we sacrificed a lot of nights and weekends.
So while most people are making TikTok videos, Matt and Kim are
sitting at our computer researching,
conspiring.
Yeah, how to build
their
wealth,
financial freedom.
Yeah, and so I think that's at its most basic level. We live in a time where there is so much information available to us that in most situations there really is no excuse to claim ignorance on certain things. There is so many resources out there for young adults to go, really anybody to go and sit down and start to kind of get their thoughts together and figure out a plan. But other than that, when I think about, do I do the trade school? Do I go to college? What path? I mean, of course you have to start to think about what do I want? What do I enjoy doing? We started out kind of on a more traditional path. I mean, we did the college thing because also society teaches us, hey, go to college. Society teaches us how to work for others.
Right.
Our society doesn't encourage entrepreneurship. And I think a lot of schools are starting to kind of evolve and starting to kind of introduce more entrepreneur curriculum into some of their stuff, but it's nowhere near, I think.
Entrepreneurship is scary because it's risky. I remember when I was even thinking about going into medical school. Here, I made the decision to go to college. Thankfully, had some athletic scholarships and things that I didn't incur a huge amount of debt going to college. But here I graduate college and all my friends are going to corporate America. They're getting these big paychecks. They're starting to build their 401ks. They're starting to, build for retirement. And now I'm going to go to medical school and take on 4 times the debt that people chose, to take on during undergrad. Oh my gosh. I'm like you, I'm thinking 5, 10, 20 years down the road. Oh my gosh, is this a good decision? Is this like return on investment? But, it seems so secure to go into corporate America and to work for other people.
Yeah. And one thing that I learned very, very quickly is that it's not as secure as we all think.
Right.
It really isn't. And one of the things we decided to do early on is we wanted to make sure we had multiple income streams so that no matter what was going on with the economy, no matter what was going on in the world, if something crashed over here, we could still do what we needed to do over here. You know what I mean?
I've heard so many people say that. Multiple income streams, 5 income streams by 35. I had somebody tell me that.
Exactly.
One time.
I believe the stat is the average millionaire has like 7 income streams, something like that.
There you
go. But so that was kind of also a point where, so I started my first business when I was 17. I started producing music for people through MySpace. Kids, look it up.
Yeah. We want to hear, we want to hear about all your different income streams because Matt's book is so just blunt and to the point. And that's why it just resonates with me. But he's totally right. You can Google anything. You can learn, you mentioned Gary Vee in your book. Literally, go sell stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can create a business out of anything. There's a kid in our neighborhood who's like 11 years old. He picks up dog poop for a quote unquote living, right? Probably to take his girlfriend on a date.
That's right.
But you can literally do anything. So tell us about how you built all these different income streams.
Yeah. So while going to college at night, so I went to school at night because I wanted to kind of start my regular corporate career during the day, which side note, and I'll get to the income streams in a second. For me, that was a very strategic decision. I didn't want to be, I graduate from college. I have this awesome piece of paper, but I don't have any work experience.
Right.
And of course everybody always talks about, well, a place won't hire me because they said great, I have a degree, but I have no work experience. Well, I don't have any work experience because I was busy getting my degree. It's kind of the catch-22. So I'm like, well, I never want to fall into that situation. So I went to school at night and online for both undergrad and grad. And that was one of the, at least from the corporate America part of my story, that was one of the best decisions I ever made because I was able to really establish myself and create critical relationships with people. And that, I don't know, it just played a huge role in kind of my upward trajectory. And college degrees aren't everything. I still had to show up and do the job, right? But the fact that I was able to gain all of that experience during the day while going to school at night, well, when I graduated from college, I was so far ahead of my peers that, I mean, I was hiring my peers, put it that way. I was now in a position already to make hiring decisions and really contribute to these multi-billion-dollar organizations, by hiring people who I was literally just sitting in class with, who opted to not work or took a different path. But anyway, so as far as multiple income streams, there's a few. I started my first business when I was 17. It's called Right Beat Productions. I'm a self-taught musician. So I started to produce rap beats.
I love it.
For
you guys, he sent me a rap video that he worked on with this rapper. We should link it. Okay,
we should
in the YouTube.
Yep, his name's DCG. He's out of Canada. What's up, man?
In case I decide to take up my vagina doctor rapping career, you guys, Matt's got my back.
So I started selling beats through MySpace, and that was really cool. I remember walking into a store and buying like my first pair of really good headphones using money that I made from making beats.
Capital investment.
And and it was. I remember I got back out to my car and I just sat there and I was like, I literally just bought something using money that I made from something that was in my brain that went through my hands into my keyboard and inspired someone else enough to where they were going to pay me for it. And it was just something that was, and it wasn't a lot of money, but it was still something. So, all right. So then past the music thing, fast forward a number of years, we decided to get into real estate. Investing was really our first main, venture together, myself and Kim. And we bought our first house in 2000. 2008. There was a couple things going on in 2008 with the economy.
Like
just
a lot of things.
Just a few things. But, again, we had educated ourselves enough to understand that the real estate market ebbs.
You took advantage of everyone else's loss, basically.
Oh my gosh. That's the thing. That's for sure.
But back up for just a second. Okay, so if you're coming up to 2008, we want to get into real estate investment, but up to this point, you've obviously built credit and things like that. So give people a little bit of advice, like, should you get a credit card? Like, how do you build credit? Because you cannot get into, real estate investment without starting there.
Totally. So we were very diligent about not having a lot of debt, really any debt other than our mortgage. We certainly early on, I think I was 18. We knew that getting a credit card was important as one way to build credit. But we also know that you have to be very disciplined when you have a credit card because people can get themselves into a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So we would each like buy a shirt or something.
Yeah.
We'd buy a shirt or go into a store and buy a CD. That doesn't happen anymore, really.
Cassette tapes, anyone?
But we'd go and we'd go out to dinner or something and just have some activity on the card and we pay it off in full at the end of the month. Something we still do to this day.
If you want people to give you their money, you have to show that you're responsible with money.
Exactly right.
And at every level.
And who knew that on a small scale then, it would then equal to literally purchasing millions of dollars in real estate,
mm-hmm.
where I'm leveraging, because that's really how we oftentimes do it, is we leverage the bank's money,
right?
To buy a lot of our properties. And so, yeah, in order to do that, there has to be some level of confidence that your lender is gonna, when they look at your overall situation, they're
mm-hmm.
gonna be like, hey, they're gonna pay it back. We're gonna be fine.
Right.
So we're gonna approve them to be able to go buy this 15th house or whatever.
Right. So but back up to, so you bought one house. So yeah. So his real estate investment essentially is owning rental properties.
Yep.
And the renters come in and they pay their rent, which is essentially paying the mortgage on the house. And then there's some profit involved with that.
Exactly right. Yeah. We bought our first house, which is still owned to this day. And we decided to then build our second house. And that was that point where we were like, okay, we're in a good enough financial position through our normal jobs to where we can hold two mortgages. So why don't we build the house? That's going to be our primary house, the house we still live in today. And let's rent this other one out.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, the number of people who told us never to do it is insane. I'm talking, and of course the loudest voices usually come from that are closest to you,
mm-hmm.
friends, family.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh my God, don't get into real estate investing. And
my mom told me not to be an OBGYN, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
You'll hate your life.
So yeah, the number of people who told us not to do it is kind of crazy. Hey, they're going to destroy your house. Then you're going to be stuck with, a wrecked house. And what are you going to do with it? They're going to burn it down. Yeah. Totally didn't happen. And I know that does happen.
Right.
So, again, you go into everything with your eyes wide open and understanding that there's a level of risk to everything, especially when you're taking a path that a lot of people choose not to. But yeah, we did that, and it was really cool because then a couple months went by and we had a renter in there and the checks came in and we paid the mortgage and collected some profit and put it into an account. And we're like, wow, this is really working. The plan is working. And then we went back to our numbers. And we were like, we can totally afford to, and that's that. Before I say, because you might hear, oh my God, he owns 14 houses. One key thing we've always followed is we never take on more than we could support
mm-hmm.
through our other means.
Strategic.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And that's to protect us.
Yeah.
To not put us into a bad
You gotta
position.
be able to pay your bills.
Exactly. So then we were like, well, this is working. So then we ended up getting another property and then another property, and we started to research new ways and creative ways to get financing for properties. Because one thing we didn't want to, and there's pros and cons to every different way for real estate investors to acquire houses. Our thing was, well, we don't want to liquidate any money that we have because we have so many balls in the air, we need to be able to continue to keep the train
Right.
rolling, So we looked a lot into leverage, and that's ultimately what we ended up settling on, at least early on, was, leveraging the bank's money. Because I mean, when you break it down to its most basic level, we're using the bank's money to buy a property that someone else is going to pay the mortgage for and also pay me a profit every month.
Right. Right.
I mean, it's a,
So these investments are paying for themselves. And then with time, once the houses are paid off, then the retirement income stream is essentially
exactly right.
financial
Passive
independence.
income has been an incredible thing. And we're disciplined enough to where we really don't spend any of it. I mean, we either use it we leverage it to buy other properties,
Mhm.
or a portion of it, of course, is always on hand for repairs and
You're
that kind
not
of thing.
buying like Gucci shoes or multiple times in Matt's book. I got him a gift for everything he does for me this year. He's a sneaker guy, like owns how many pairs of Jordans?
I don't know, like 20, 30. I don't know.
Okay, everybody has the thing. He's got like 20 or 30 pairs of Jordans. I bought him these really nice Gucci shoes, and everywhere in his book, he's like, I'm not spending my money on Gucci shoes. I was dying laughing.
Yep, that's fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, you're not frivolous. Like, you're not just buying everything that's in your Facebook feed or your Instagram feed and just throwing money here and there. Everything really is like strategic. And
exactly. And so, yeah, real estate has been, I would say, the biggest part of our portfolio, if you will. But I started a number of other companies. I started a bracelet company in 2015 called Elite Wear, and people thought it was really weird. Like, wait a minute, okay, Matt, you're this.
No, I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
When I heard
no,
you had a
super
bracelet
strange.
company, I'm like, wait.
Oh yeah, I can remember. I
You
remember.
make
I think
bracelets.
I think it was my. It's probably my father-in-law who was like, "Okay, hold on for a second. Like, you're a director. You're making over $100,000 a year, and you're gonna go home and sit in your living room and
bracelets.
make bracelets." But it was one of those things where I saw him on Instagram, and I liked watches. I went through a pretty good watch phase, and I saw people pairing their watches with their bracelets, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And I couldn't really find any bracelets that I liked, so I started to make my own.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, someone from a customer from California messaged me on Instagram and said, "Hey, are you selling those bracelets?" And I was like, "I guess I am now." Yep. So then, literally the next day, created a logo and a brand and filed all the paperwork and got it all squared away, and ended up selling over 6,000 bracelets.
Incredible. So this bracelet is a serious side hustle, and one of the chapters in your book is Power of the Side Hustle. And it's not bracelets, but I remember just when my Fit and Fabulous brand kind of started, I was like, I don't even know what it is, but I'm here for it. And I had to make a logo. I had to hire somebody to make a logo. I had to Google how to make a website.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm a gynecologist. I literally built my own website. It can be done. Like, if you're willing to invest in yourself and learn skills, you can sell those skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, for sure. So the
bracelets are pumping.
Yeah, bracelets are going great. And then we started a pop by tag business. So pop by tags are pop by gifts are literally what they sound like. They're gifts that you pop by and give your clients. It's very popular in the real estate world.
Mm-hmm.
And with Kim, who has her own entire journey that she's gone on, she left the government world and went into real estate, another thing she was told not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's approaching $100 million in sales.
$100 million in sales. And you talked about in the book that in 1 year of your life, you went from $50,000 in income to $500,000 in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah. Things snowballed like really, really, it progressed very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it was, Kim makes these incredible baskets for her clients. Really amazing things that she posts online, and people always compliment. And I remember telling her, I'm like, hey,
Is this like the time she made you dress up as a turkey and hand out pies?
That was just at a Thanksgiving, just a normal client appreciation event. Got to support your spouse,
Anything for the Spartan woman, you guys.
That's right. But yeah, I said, gosh, those are really like cool little tags that you're making for your clients. Like, I bet other realtors would
want the
same thing. And which is, again, someone might say, wait a minute, you're going to help other realtors when your wife's a realtor. And it's like, but again, it's like, I'm not worried about Kim.
Abundance mindset.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Kim in the least.
There's enough business for all of us.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She's solid. She's set.
She's locked in.
That's right. So yeah, we started making the Popeye tags, open up an Etsy shop, and now
The dog
Rex
literally just
unplugged
a
one
light.
of the lights. This is the life of the podcast life. This is these things happen. So if you're watching on the YouTube channel, Dr. Jaime is currently replugging a light back in after the two pepperonis unplug them. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, we're back in business.
That's awesome. But yeah, so we started making these tags and they've kind of taken off, and there's agents in pretty much every state using them frequently.
Okay.
So it's pretty awesome. And then there's the photography side of the business, which is probably what keeps me the most busy.
Yeah.
I've got two companies. One is real estate related. It's called Get It Sold Listing Services. Basically, I provide listing photos, drone videos, interior videos, that kind of thing for real estate agents across the metro, every brokerage. And that keeps me insanely busy. I usually photograph around 5 houses a day. And then I've got everything pretty much.
Did that explode during COVID? Like being able to do virtual?
It really,
walkthroughs?
really did. So obviously nobody knew COVID was going to be a thing, but I implemented virtual tours to my set of offerings about 2 or 3 months before COVID happened. I wanted to expand my business. Little did I know that was going to be a massive thing because, open houses were canceled for a number of months. They were not allowed. So that was huge. And that was, I think that was at least just a big part of the business really taking off, because I started doing, keep in mind, and I know there are a lot of kind of wires that are like intermingled, but I was doing that after my day job when I was in corporate. Now, granted, I couldn't do it as much as I do it now, obviously, because I was at my office job, but I was starting to build it while I was working my regular job. And so then outside of real estate, then basically I started another company called Aspects and Angles Photography. And that pretty much covers everything else photography, media related that isn't related to real estate. And those are the two things bringing us to today. Those are like the two things.
That's how I know Matt.
There you go.
Aspects and Angles over here. Do you guys like our angles?
So that's what keeps me the most busy. And so all of these things accumulated, and that plus obviously what my wife is bringing to the table from real estate, it got us to the point where we could both, put the corporate life behind us and
your own bosses. Yeah.
Which is incredible. And it's something that we talk about a lot together, me and Kim. We are so, like, I get asked a lot, why do you do so much stuff? Why do you work so much? It's like, because I have the opportunity to do it.
Right.
Because I have the option to do it.
You also have a nonprofit. I want to talk about just the ways that you give back.
Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh.
A lot of people know I did the 50-mile march last 2 years. Matt has been a lot of genius behind the concept too, along with Jay Morales. And now that's an official nonprofit. You've really poured your time and heart into. But you have another nonprofit that benefits animals. Talk about that just
so if anybody knows me, if you follow me anywhere on social media, you know that, I'm all about the animals. We don't have any kids. We just have animals. But it's just a big part of my life, and it means a lot to me. So, when we got to a point where we could start helping others monetarily, we started a nonprofit called Lily's Lifeline, and it was named after our dachshund Lily, who passed away, who we rescued. And we didn't want to overcomplicate it. We know that veterinary care can be expensive, especially if it's like a sudden thing. That can be a big bill.
T-Rex tried to die of
that's right.
hemorrhagic gastroenteritis this last year. Oh my gosh. Talk about an expensive 4-pound dog.
Oh my gosh. So we started this nonprofit with the vision of being a source for basically being a lifeline, Lily's Lifeline, for a family who has a sudden emergency situation for their pet, and they don't have the means to pay for whatever
Right.
needs to happen. And it's no judgment. People, and that's one thing is because we had some people say, well, don't you think like people are going to take advantage of it, or people are, why would you willingly financially pay for, maybe they shouldn't have gotten the dog in the first place. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, you know what, like we all are on different journeys and we all have different challenges in life, and we've all had different opportunities, and we've all started at different places in life, and we happen to just now be in a position where we can help others. So it's not something that I mean, when we have things in place to make sure that people don't take advantage of it, of course, we have relationships with the veterinary office here in Omaha that refers people to us. But, that was one thing that we wanted to make a key part of that nonprofit, is that we never wanted to make anybody feel uncomfortable or feel like they were, ashamed. Because it's, at the end of the day, it was about the animal.
It's about the dog.
It's about the dog or the cat or the moose. Or
right.
I'm just kidding. We haven't helped the moose, but if there is a moose that needs help,
if
you have a moose, just reach out.
It's Matt's dream. Save a moose.
So basically, the nonprofit, the vet will reach out and say, hey, we've got this family. Here's what's going on.
Okay, I was just about to ask.
Yeah, here's what's going on.
A network of vets that just know that there's.
Yeah, the nonprofit will then pay for the veterinary care. There's no expectation of repayment, because the priority is just taking care of the animal. And yes, the kind of the byproduct of that is it also eases some financial strain on the family as well. But the first priority for us was obviously helping the animal. So that's been really rewarding. We've donated easily over $10,000 and a car to someone who's big in the rescue community here who needed a car.
Amazing.
And so it's been a very, very fulfilling thing. And it's evolved over time. We were involved more like early on in like the rescue side and like going out on site and doing that kind of thing. But as the kind of the empire has grown a little bit, we're now more focused on like just the monetary support side of things. But
so incredible.
Yeah.
So the one part about the story you forgot was in 2018 when you and Kim were strategizing about how you wanted to run a podcast for a gynecologist. I know you manifested this. It's just crazy how the energy of the world works and that we got brought together. But okay, well, I would love to continue to talk about all this amazing stuff. If you guys want to be a millionaire by age 32, just go buy Matt's book and read it, because it's really like no BS and will really help you kind of get in the mentality of building financial freedom. But that brings me to the favorite part of the podcast called the Semen Analysis. And I told Matt I had a little surprise in order. So I found this amazing Reader's Digest article on some fun facts about money.
Okay.
So I'm going to quiz you.
Oh, God.
I'm going to quiz you, and we're going to see how much you really know about money.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So
Kim is totally the financial brain, so I'm probably going to fail.
Uh-oh. Okay. Renaissance nerd Benjamin Franklin designed America's first U.S. penny in what year?
Oh, my gosh. First U.S. penny?
First U.S. penny.
Let's see. First U.S. penny, 18. Did I get the first two right?
No, 1787.
1787.
Crazy. But you'll love this. Instead of what was originally supposed to be emblazoned on the penny, they put the motto, quote, "Mind your business." And I think it says pennies used to be a lot snarkier. So the original penny in 1787 said, "Mind your business."
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
incredible.
my gosh. That's awesome.
Okay. So there's a pretty, this is a softball. Okay.
We'll see.
There's a bird on most currency. What is it?
An eagle?
Yeah. Okay. So the eagle on your money actually has a name. So from 1830 to 1836, there was this bird that kept swooping into the Philadelphia U.S. Mint building, and the workers named him Peter the Mint Eagle, and they cared for him. This is totally Matt Bill's like. And then allegedly they used him as a model for the coin engravings for years to come.
Huh.
So there was a bald eagle that used to fly into the Philadelphia Mint.
Look at that.
Okay, so pennies actually could bankrupt us, Matt. Today it costs more money to make a penny than the penny does itself. How much does it cost to make a penny?
Oh, my gosh.
Obviously, it's more than 1 cent.
Yes, that's good.
How many cents per coin?
Oh my gosh! I think I read this before. Was it like? It's like 30 cents.
1.7 cents per coin. We'd
Okay.
be damn bankrupt. 30 cents.
I know. I'm like 30 cents.
But still, you guys, pennies. Okay, they're not good. They're not good for the financial world. So every single year, we people who carry pocket change make TSA really wealthy, like super wealthy.
My God.
So change adds up super fast. In 2015, TSA reported that they collected how much money in loose change at airport security checkpoints across the country.
Oh my gosh. Across the country.
Mm-hmm. Loose change.
All right. I'm going to say a crazy number, like 20 million.
$765,759.15.
Holy crap. That's
like
insane.
close to $1 million
That's
in
insane.
pocket change. So TSA, you're obviously not suffering.
Oh my God. That's
okay.
good. 20 million. I said 20 million. Like
So-
20 million, Matt.
Okay, so money is actually not made of paper. U.S. paper money is not paper at all. It's 75% cotton and 25% something else. It's cotton and this people make clothes out of this product. It's a clothes pants that wrinkle really easily.
Like polyester,
linen. Paper money is actually 75% cotton and 25% linen.
Wow.
And Ben Franklin back in the day actually repaired torn bills with a needle and thread.
Wow.
So he literally sewed them back together.
I was going to say hemp.
Crazy.
Hemp.
Well, today we'd probably use hemp because we have enough of it. Okay. Okay. Money is the ultimate compost. Today we trash them. There is a farm in Delaware that mulches more than how many tons of worn out U.S. cash into compost every day? Every day. How many tons of U.S. cash into compost?
Tons? Oh my gosh. 50 tons?
4 tons.
4 tons? My numbers are so high.
This is great. I had to find something
Holy
he wasn't
crap.
good at, you guys. I love it. Okay. Okay. But how many, we'll do multiple choice.
Okay.
You can really wear out bills like money, right?
Yeah.
How many times could you double fold a bill before it will tear? I'll get multiple choice. 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, or 8,000.
Whoa.
How many times can you double fold the bill before it will wear out?
I'm going to go, you said 6,000 was an option?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 6,000.
Okay, it's 4,000.
Oh my
So 4,000 double folds, it will wear the bill out. What's crazy is it says, you know how you're trying to put the money in the pop machine?
Yes.
And it like won't go in?
Yes.
It says if you microwave the bill for 20 seconds, it will crisp it up.
Really?
I don't. Matt has like stacks of cash in his microwave tonight. I'm going to make these bills crispy.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
I
love it.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of, soda machines, by the way, as Dr. Jaime said earlier, sitting behind the camera, listening to all the stuff she talks about. So I used to drink 8 to 10 Diet Cokes a day, which was insane. Like legit Diet Coke every single day, 8 to 10. And as I'm sitting behind the camera listening to all the stuff Jamie's talking about, I'm like, yeah, I should probably stop doing that. So I kicked Diet Coke completely, cold turkey, and haven't had one in
no more Diet Coke, you guys. No more Diet Coke. Okay. $2 bills are not as unique as you think. $2 bills are seen as a rarity, but there's actually, is it over or under 1 billion $2 bills in circulation? Over or under 1 billion $2 bills?
I've been guessing really high. I'm going to say under. It's over, isn't it?
1.1 billion $2 bills. This is
Holy
great.
crap.
You guys, I love random trivia. When I was in college, I hope some of my former teammates are listening. People used to call me the 411. I love random facts like this.
Oh my gosh. Well, don't ever be on my team if we're playing for money.
All right. What was the largest note ever printed? So the largest bill ever printed. Obviously these are not in circulation.
Yeah. Was it like 10,000?
$100,000 gold certificate. It was printed December 1934 through January of 1935, but they were only used in transactions between Federal Reserve banks. So you couldn't have one in your wallet, but $100,000 bill that they could transfer between.
And by 10,000, I meant 100,000. That's what I meant.
10,000 squared.
That's right.
Okay. How many grooves are in the edge of a quarter? You know how quarters are grooved?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do multiple choice. let's see. 89, 109, 119, or 129.
I'm going to go 119.
Yes.
All right.
A quarter has 119 grooves around the edge. A dime has 118. And the grooves were added to keep people from scraping off the coin faces and selling them as precious metals. Crazy.
That's pretty interesting.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see. Some fun little facts. Oh, yes. Okay. The first U.S. gold rush started in North Carolina in 1803. A 12-year-old, Conrad Reith, found a blank pound gold nugget on his father's farm, and it supplied all the gold for the entire nation's mints until 1829.
Whoa.
How heavy was this blank pound gold nugget that a 12-year-old found on his dad's farm?
Oh my gosh. Does it even qualify as a nugget at that point?
Multiple choice?
Yeah.
5, 15, 17, 19.
I mean, I'm going to go 19 since it's supplied
17 pound gold nugget.
That's insane.
I mean, I wonder what Conrad Reed.
Oh my
well, I guess he's dead. This is in 1803. But how cool is that?
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. Last gold rush fact, and then we're done. Thanks to the tech boom, rent and grocery bills in San Francisco have rocketed 21% above the national average, but that's nothing compared to the gold rush. In the 1850s, a dozen eggs could cost you the equivalent of how much money in today's money. So obviously super expensive. So let's do a multiple choice on this one. So because of the gold rush, a dozen eggs back in the 1850s would cost you the equivalent of $50, $70, $90, or $150.
Oh my gosh. Let's go 70.
90.
90?
Yeah.
Holy
so
crap.
because of the gold rush in the 1850s, a dozen eggs was the equivalent of $90 in today's money. Yeah, crazy. And it says a hotel room would be upwards of $300,000 a month.
Oh my gosh.
Because of the gold rush. So crazy.
Wow. That would not be excellent.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to the Semen Analysis. We are having no lack of fun over here. And honestly, this is what it's like to film with Matt. It's so much fun. That's why he keeps coming back for more. So now the dog is literally chewing on the cords. Can you keep these animals in line?
Oh my gosh.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the Fit and Fabulous podcast. Make sure you share this podcast with anybody who wants to learn how to make money and earn financial independence and freedom. Thank you guys. And thank you, Matt, so much.
Oh my gosh. My pleasure.
Have a great day.